Hi, dude. Today is Friday, November the 13th, and it is now past midnight. I was going to go to bed at 10, but then I got a notification from BBC that said that there was a shooting, so I didn't sleep. I've been keeping up with the news instead. I think this is probably one of the first times in my personal history that I have followed the news myself, minute by minute, and it's been quite an experience. Since this is the first time that something on this scale happens, when I am alone, without my parents in my house with me, I have been following it myself, and I have a few things I would like to say. First of all, I will be the first person who is incredibly critical of the news. I have many an objection to the news, from censorship to being biased and unreliable and just untrustworthy in general. But there's something incredibly special about it. I felt tonight, in particular, incredibly blessed to have free press and to be able to follow it, because information and the ability to obtain it gives you power as a citizen. I mean, I'm sitting here in my room in Oxford and I want to do something about it because I am pissed that this is happening. And all my rationality is telling me there's nothing you can do, you know? But I'm wrong. Because caring and spreading the word and trying to help is always enough. And, you know, having access to the media and the news helps not only calm you down, but it sort of, you are interconnected. I may be in Oxford, but tonight I can be in Paris. And my mother, who is in Beijing right now, is also in Paris tonight. And that's special. This is a feeling that is unique to free media and the ability to access it. And I felt incredibly blessed to be able to follow along with the news cycle tonight. The BBC's been doing this thing where it's been updating live every like 5 minutes, and it just feels incredible to be able to see how things are developing as they develop. I've also obviously been checking CNN and the Huffington Post and the Daily, freaking everything. So I've been looking at a million media outlets and I've been very pleased. The second thing I would like to say is a small note on extremism. If there was one thing I could say to everyone right now, to the world, to world leaders, it would be that although you have to fight fire with fire, you know, because you need to protect yourself, please God, don't make the mistake. I can see it happening. Don't make the mistake. Don't try to generalize. Don't try. There's a way to fix it. There's always a way to fix it, but spreading lies and spreading, you know, just spreading misinformation and spreading misconceptions about a group of people isn't going to get you anywhere. The discussion I'm alluding to, of course, is Islam versus Islamic extremism, because Islam is a religion and Islamic extremism is a particular interpretation of the religion. Like, there are Westboro Baptist Church and there is ISIS. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because, to be honest, I'm a little bit scared too. I have a lot of opinions about this, but hopefully we'll be able to continue this discussion in the future. Lastly, I wanted to give a little note on my tone. I've said things like, this is the first time that something on this scale happens, when I am alone, without my parents in my house with me. I've mentioned how the BBC have an update and how many other news media outlets are on it. If you go to Twitter right now, everything is about France, which is amazing. Every crime deserves coverage. One of the first things that happened when this happened was that Barack Obama, he made a speech to the press in his press room in Washington. And he mentioned that in the US they're used to things like this and that it's horrifying. And I've read people on Twitter going, oh, you know, wow, yeah, this Paris thing sucks. I wish that in the States we could keep our victims down to the number that they are in Paris like right now, implying that the situation is much worse in the United States. You are allowed to state facts. Like, it's true that there are a million shootings in the US every day, I understand that. Which doesn't make Paris less of a tragedy. On the other hand, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, because I myself am not very aware of this. That's why I want to bring it up. There is a massacre going on in Burundi right now. Do you know where Burundi is? It's in Africa. There is a massive civil problem of some sort going on. Do you see how vague I am about this? I care desperately about this, and yet all of the information that I have is ridiculously vague. I know about this because I follow a lot of international UN development websites on my Facebook. So there is something going on in Burundi. People are being murdered. There's, you know, you have those hazy pictures of people in the street and fires everywhere. That's happening right now in Burundi, and I don't know about it. And yet a shooting happens in Paris and I know about it immediately. The first thing that I thought of when this happened was the immense inequity of the global media, because the Paris coverage, there's nothing wrong with the Paris coverage. The Paris coverage is fine. Keep it exactly how it is. I love the Paris coverage. Keep it that way. However, there's something immensely wrong with the media of the developed world if we cannot also cover the development world. And I've mentioned at the beginning of this video that information is key, right? Information is key for me to feel involved. Information is key, most importantly, for me to form an educated opinion, right? I am a citizen of this entire world, right? And if I sit around and I don't know what's going on, I can't form an educated opinion. That is the problem right now with the developing world. We have no information. No information. I don't know what's going on in Burundi. There's this massive thing happening. Ebola was a big deal when it became a threat to the developed world. Because it was an illness, and illnesses are scary, but civil unrest, okay, I mean, you know, civil unrest is happening in that city. Yeah, it's relevant enough to be in the news, but not relevant to make headlines. And I just find that incredibly, there are reasons for it, of course. I am in Europe, so it makes sense that I should hear European news. It just doesn't make sense if I am in China and I hear European news. And it doesn't make sense if I am in the United States and I hear European news. Do you see my point? Like, because I am in China, my mother is in China, and she got this on breaking news. And yet, Burundi, and I'm stating Burundi as an example because unfortunately, although I know that things similar to Burundi are happening everywhere, I don't know about them because I'm not being told by the media. Listen to information, because it's only then that you can create a real informed opinion. Be critical of the information that you receive, because if you just kind of drink it in, then your opinion is not critical. You're basically just repeating information. And thirdly, don't forget the developing world. What do you even say? To everyone in Burundi, people do listen, and your you know, plight is not being ignored. I hope that the conflict will be resolved in Burundi. I hope I will be able to have more access to more information about it over the coming days. To France, I was born in Belgium. The French are my brothers and sisters, so je suis avec la France. What do you want me to say? It's horrifying because the conflict's at home. It's not far away. You can't remove yourself from it. You can't say, oh, poor people, anyway, moving on with my life, because it's happening to you. It's a difficult time we live in. It's beautiful and horrifying and difficult, but it is our time, and it is our job as the next generation to be involved and interested and always curious, and I hope that we all remain so. Finally, I've also been told that there is a disaster going on in Japan right now as well. There's been an earthquake. Again, I haven't had a lot of information about that. Everybody in Japan, stay safe. My home base is in China, so you're not far. You're in my heart as well. Every last disaster deserves to be heard, regardless of scope or magnitude, you know. We are all in this together, and this is our world, and this is our friends that this is happening to. It's our brethren. It's an amazing show of solidarité. BBC and everybody else that I've been, basically every major media outlet from Reuters to Agence France to everyone I have been looking at tonight, thank you for doing your job so incredibly efficiently and helping me as a citizen of the world start to make an opinion, an educated one, and hopefully a critical one. I hope that one day, with my help and the help of people from our generation, our children will be able to say the same about Burundi and Angola and Indonesia and Peru. Goodbye. Radicalization is a massive topic in the world right now, and it's definitely worth discussing, and I hope that we will be able to have this discussion. Oh, I'm so hot in here.